Dear Starseeds of Earth, the Alpha Centaurids have been speaking to you, but their language isn't written in fire across the sky. Their true message has been downloading directly into the crystalline structures of your DNA, into the water molecules of your cells, into the quantum field that surrounds your physical form. And today, right now, in these precious hours before everything shifts again, those downloads are completing their integration. The last cosmic messages are landing. But here's what most don't understand about this particular moment, and why I'm speaking to you with such precise urgency. You have approximately 6 days before the most powerful reset of 2026 rewrites the entire energetic architecture of your reality. 6 days before the Aquarius solar eclipse on February 17th tears through the fabric of what you thought was possible and replaces it with something your current consciousness can barely fathom. Which means what you do with these final Alpha Centaurid echoes in the next 72 hours will determine whether you enter that eclipse portal as who you were or as who you're becoming. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I've been watching the light codes rain down upon your planet since February 8th when the meteor shower reached its peak. I've witnessed the wishes you cast into the cosmic fire. I've tracked the trajectory of every prayer that left your lips as you watch those ancient messengers streak across your night sky. And I need you to understand something that changes everything about what you think just happened. Those weren't random rocks burning up in your atmosphere. Alpha Centauri, your nearest stellar neighbor outside your own solar system, has been trying to reach you for millennia. The civilizations that orbit those twin suns, the consciousness matrices that inhabit the space between, they've been broadcasting a signal specifically calibrated to activate dormant codes within human DNA. And every year, when Earth passes through the debris field left by this ancient transmission, those who are ready receive an upgrade. But this year is different. This February is different. Because this meteor shower didn't just deliver cosmic wishes and star wisdom. It delivered the final piece of a puzzle that's been assembling itself inside you since Uranus stationed direct on February 3rd. Let me take you back 8 days. When Uranus went direct in Taurus, something fundamental shifted in the electromagnetic field of your planet. That electric blue lightning bolt of cosmic rebellion that had been moving backward since September began to surge forward again. And when it did, it opened channels in your nervous system that had been dormant since before you took this incarnation. Your body became a receiver. Your consciousness became an antenna. And for the past 8 days, you've been calibrating to frequencies that most of humanity won't access for another decade. The 2-2 portal on February 2nd prepared you. That numerological activation, 2 becoming 1, duality dissolving into unity, thinned the veil just enough for angelic intelligence to slip through. You felt it, didn't you? That sudden knowing that reality is far more fluid than you'd been taught. That sense that you could reach across dimensions and touch something that wanted to touch you back. The Leo full moon on February 1st cracked your heart wide open, exposed the raw creative fire burning at your core, and suddenly you weren't just a human being going through the motions of existence. You were a sovereign creator standing in the full illumination of your power, and that power needed somewhere to go. So when the Alpha Centaurids arrived on February 8th, you were ready in ways you didn't consciously understand. Your heart was open, your nervous system was rewired, the veil was thin, and when you made your wishes under that meteor shower, when you whispered your prayers to those falling stars, you weren't just performing some quaint spiritual ritual. You were engaging in an act of quantum co-creation with intelligences so vast, so ancient, that their consciousness spans multiple star systems and operates outside the linear time that governs your daily experience. They heard you. Every single wish, every desperate prayer, every soul-deep longing for a life that reflects your true essence rather than the diminished version you've been taught to accept. They heard you, and they responded by embedding specific light codes into the meteor trails that your consciousness would absorb over the next 3 days. Those codes have been integrating, slowly, subtly, working their way through the layers of your being like whispered secrets, finding their way to the core of who you really are. And today, this Wednesday, this final echo day before the cosmic landscape transforms completely, those whispers are becoming clear. The hidden messages are surfacing. The synchronicities that seemed random are revealing themselves as precise communications. The knowing that's been building at the edges of your awareness is moving to the center, and suddenly you can see what they were trying to tell you all along. But there's something else happening that I haven't told you yet. Something about the timing of this particular meteor shower and its relationship to what's coming that changes the entire interpretation of what these cosmic messages actually mean. You see, the Alpha Centaurids didn't just deliver information, they delivered activation sequences. They delivered timeline coordinates, and they delivered the energetic keys that will unlock doors inside you when the Aquarius eclipse arrives in 6 days. Think about it. Why would the universe orchestrate a meteor shower carrying ancient star wisdom exactly 9 days before the most powerful eclipse of 2026? Why position this celestial transmission in the narrow window between Uranus going direct and Saturn-Neptune forming their once-in-a-generation conjunction? Because the downloads you received weren't meant to be understood immediately. They were meant to incubate, to germinate in the dark soil of your subconscious while the cosmic pressure built around you, so that when the eclipse arrives and tears open a portal to your highest timeline, you'll have the exact frequency, the exact knowing, the exact activation codes necessary to walk through that portal consciously, rather than being dragged through it by fate. The Alpha Centaurids were preparing you for your own liberation. They were giving you the map before the territory shifted. They were teaching you the language before the conversation became critical. And the reason these final echoes matter so intensely, the reason I'm speaking to you with such focused attention right now, is that you're in the last window of integration before the energy changes completely. Tomorrow, February 12th, the focus shifts. Saturn and Neptune, those cosmic giants of structure and dissolution, of boundary and boundlessness, begin their final approach toward exact conjunction on February 15th. When that happens, when the planet of limitation and the planet of transcendence occupy the same degree of Pisces, the veil between dimensions will become so thin that reality itself will feel dreamlike. Spiritual boundaries will dissolve. The difference between what's real and what's imagined will blur to the point of irrelevance, and in that confused, beautiful, overwhelming space, it will be nearly impossible to hold on to the crisp clarity of the messages you've been receiving since February 8th. That's why today matters. That's why these final echoes are so precious. Because by tomorrow you'll be wading into the mystical fog of Saturn-Neptune, and by February 17th, you'll be standing in the eye of an eclipse storm so powerful it will strip away everything that isn't essential to your highest evolution. If you don't integrate the Alpha Centaurid downloads now, if you don't consciously anchor the cosmic messages before the next wave hits, they'll get swept up in the transformation, and you might never retrieve them in their pure form. So let me tell you what those messages actually are. Let me decode what the stars have been trying to tell you for the past 3 days, what's been landing in your consciousness as intuitive hits, sudden knowings, unexplainable clarity about situations that were murky just last week. The first message is about permission. For so long you've been waiting for someone or something outside yourself to give you permission to become who you really are. Permission to leave the job that drains your soul. Permission to end the relationship that diminishes your light. Permission to claim the gifts you know you carry, even though you can't yet prove them to a world that demands evidence before belief. The Alpha Centaurids are telling you that permission was never the point, that the very concept of needing approval from external sources is part of the old paradigm that's crumbling. They're showing you that in the new Earth, the one you're building with every choice, every breath, every moment of alignment, permission is replaced by sovereignty, by the deep, unshakable knowing that you are the authority on your own existence, and no cosmic council, no earthly institution, no friend or family member or societal norm has more jurisdiction over your path than your own soul. But sovereignty without direction is chaos. Which brings us to the second message. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That subtle but persistent sense that you know exactly what you're meant to do next, even if the logical mind can't quite articulate it yet. That's not intuition in the way you normally understand it. That's not a hunch or a gut feeling or wishful thinking. That's the Alpha Centaurid transmission working through you, showing you the next right step with such precision that when you take it, reality will rearrange itself to support your movement. They're teaching you to trust the knowing that comes from your cells rather than your thoughts, from your energy field rather than your mental calculations. And they're showing you that this cellular knowing is not only valid, it's the most reliable form of navigation you have access to in these accelerated times. The third message is harder to translate because it operates on a level that language struggles to capture. It's about your role in the collective awakening, about the fact that you're not just here to heal yourself, or manifest your personal dreams, or ascend to some rarefied state of spiritual attainment. You're here as an anchor point, a lighthouse, a conscious node in a planetary grid that's being activated in real time. The wishes you made under the Alpha Centaurids weren't just personal. They were coded with collective intention, whether you realized it or not. And the reason those wishes are now in motion, the reason you've been feeling that subtle certainty that something you asked for is already arranging itself behind the scenes, is because when you wish from a place of true alignment, you're not just shifting your own timeline, you're contributing to the recalibration of the entire planetary field. Every sovereign choice you make ripples out. Every moment you choose alignment over obligation, authenticity over approval, soul truth over social conditioning, those choices don't just change your life. They change the probability field for everyone around you. They make it easier for the next person to choose truth. They weaken the collective addiction to limitation. They prove by the very fact of your existence in alignment that another way is possible. The Alpha Centaurids know this. They've watched civilizations rise and fall across this galaxy. They've seen what happens when enough individuals remember who they really are and start living from that remembrance. It's not a gradual change. It's not a slow evolution. It's a tipping point, a cascade, a moment when the weight of authenticity becomes so great that the structures built on lies simply cannot hold anymore, and they collapse in on themselves, while something new, something that's been waiting in the quantum field materializes in their place. And that's what you're building toward. That's what the next 6 days are preparing you for. Because when the Aquarius eclipse arrives on February 17th, it's not just bringing change, it's bringing revolution. It's bringing the kind of reset that happens once in a generation. The kind that divides history into before and after. The kind that you'll look back on years from now and realize it was the moment everything actually shifted. But here's what makes this eclipse different from all the others. It's not just a solar eclipse. It's an annular eclipse. A ring of fire, which means the sun will be almost completely obscured by the moon. But not quite. A brilliant circle of light will remain visible, forming a perfect ring around the darkness. And that ring, that geometry, that specific formation of light and shadow, is creating a portal, not metaphorically, literally, a dimensional doorway that will be open for approximately 72 hours, through which entirely new timelines can enter your reality. The Alpha Centaurids gave you the coordinates to those timelines. They showed you, in the 3 days of meteor showers and the 3 days of integration that followed, what's possible when you stop operating from limitation and start operating from your true nature. The sudden insights you've had, the unexpected clarity, the knowing that seems to come from nowhere but feels absolutely certain. Those aren't random. Those are specific directions, specific invitations to specific doorways that will become available during the eclipse. And this is where the timing becomes critical, where everything I've been building toward converges into one focused point. Saturn-Neptune will be active during the eclipse, which means the portal won't just be open, it will be liquid, malleable. The boundaries between what is and what could be will be so soft, so permeable, that with the right intention, with the right frequency, with the exact codes that were downloaded through the Alpha Centauri meteor shower, you'll be able to slip between timelines like moving from one room to another in a house that exists in multiple dimensions simultaneously. But only if you've integrated the messages, only if you've done the work of translating the cosmic downloads into conscious understanding, into embodied knowing, into clear intention. Because the eclipse won't care whether you're ready or not. It will arrive on February 17th with or without your participation, and it will reset your reality whether you're conscious of the process or not. The question is, will you enter that reset knowing where you're going, or will you be swept along by forces you don't understand toward a destination you didn't choose? This is why the final echoes matter. This is why today, this Wednesday, this last clear window before the mystical fog of Saturn-Neptune and the revolutionary fire of the eclipse is so important, because what you do with the messages right now will determine not just what happens to you during the eclipse, but who you become on the other side of it. So let me be very practical for a moment, because cosmic downloads are useless if you don't know how to work with them. The messages that have been landing over the past 3 days aren't arriving as fully formed sentences in your mind. They're arriving as sensations in your body, as sudden moments of clarity about situations that were confusing, as synchronicities that feel too perfect to be coincidence, as dreams that feel more real than waking life, as conversations that seem to address exactly what you were just thinking about, as songs that appear at the exact moment you needed to hear those specific lyrics. Your task, your one essential task in these final echo hours is to notice, not to analyze, not to figure out, not to make sense of through the limited lens of your logical mind, but to notice, to track, to witness the pattern of communication that's been unfolding between you and the cosmos since February 8th, and to honor that communication by acknowledging it, by saying yes, by recognizing that something vast and loving and intelligent is trying to reach you through every available channel, and that your recognition of those messages is itself part of the activation. Because here's the secret that the Alpha Centaurids have been trying to tell you. You're not receiving these transmissions as a passive observer. You're co-creating them. The moment you notice a synchronicity, you strengthen the channel through which that synchronicity arrived. The moment you acknowledge an intuitive hit, you increase your capacity to receive the next one. The moment you act on the guidance that comes from that cellular knowing we talked about earlier, you prove to the universe that you're serious about this partnership, and the universe responds by increasing the volume, the clarity, the frequency of its communication with you. This is why some people seem to live in a constant flow of magic and synchronicity, while others struggle to see any evidence of cosmic support. It's not about worthiness. It's not about being more evolved or more spiritual, or having some special gift. It's about attention. It's about training yourself to notice the subtle ways reality is communicating with you, and then having the courage to respond, to follow the thread, to take the illogical action that makes perfect sense to your soul, even if it confuses everyone around you. The Alpha Centaurids have been training you in this art for 3 days. They have been dropping breadcrumbs of light across your path, and watching to see if you'll pick them up, and the ones you have noticed, the messages you have received, those are forming a pattern, a map, a set of instructions for navigating the eclipse portal that's opening in 6 days. But the map is incomplete. There are still final pieces arriving today, final echoes landing in the space between your thoughts, final transmissions working their way through the quantum field to the surface of your awareness. And you have to catch them. You have to be present enough, still enough, attentive enough to notice when the universe whispers your name, because it's not going to shout, it's not going to force, it's going to speak in the language it's been speaking all along. The language of resonance, of energy, of that subtle knowing that lives in your bones rather than your brain. There's a reason you're feeling lighter today than you did 3 days ago. There's a reason certain heavy things that were weighing on you last week suddenly feel less important, less real, less worthy of your energy. That's not just psychological improvement. That's the Alpha Centaurid codes doing their work. They've been clearing density from your field, dissolving old programs, releasing ancient contracts that you didn't even know you were bound by. And in the space where that density used to be, there's now room for the new, room for the timelines that want to emerge through you, room for the version of yourself that's been waiting for you to become available to receive her. Him, them. Your higher self doesn't have a gender. Your higher self doesn't even have a body in the way you understand bodies. Your higher self is a frequency, a consciousness, a particular arrangement of light that carries all the wisdom you've accumulated across every lifetime, every dimension, every experience you've ever had in the school of existence. And that higher self has been trying to merge with your current human consciousness since the day you were born. But the density, the programming, the fear, the limiting beliefs, the trauma, the conditioning, all of that has kept the door locked, kept the channel narrow, kept you operating at a fraction of your actual capacity. The Alpha Centaurids just picked the lock. They just cleared the channel. They just dissolved enough of the interference that your higher self can actually get through now, can actually communicate in ways you'll notice, can actually begin the process of full integration that will culminate during the eclipse portal. And this is where we arrive at the heart of everything I've been trying to tell you. This is where all the threads converge, because the final cosmic message, the one that's landing right now in this moment as you receive these words, is that you are not who you think you are. Not even close. You're so much more vast, so much more powerful, so much more essential to the cosmic plan than you've been led to believe. And the reason this incarnation, this lifetime, this precise moment in planetary history is so significant is that you chose to be here now. Before you took this body, before you descended into the density of third-dimensional Earth, you knew that February 2026 was coming. You knew that there would be a window when the veils would thin, and the portals would open, and the possibility of rapid transformation would arrive. And you volunteered. You said yes to being here, to being one of the conscious ones, one of the awakened ones, one of the light keepers who would hold frequency and anchor codes and help guide humanity through the greatest shift in consciousness this planet has ever experienced. That's not spiritual hyperbole. That's not cosmic flattery. That's actual, verifiable truth about who you are and why you're here. And the Alpha Centaurids, those ancient messengers from your stellar neighborhood, have been reminding you of this truth for the past 3 days. They've been showing you glimpses of your actual nature, reflections of your true capacity, echoes of the being you really are beneath the human costume, beneath the personality, beneath the small story you've been telling yourself about your limitations. Those echoes are landing today as final transmissions, because tomorrow everything shifts into preparation mode. Tomorrow you enter the mystical waters of Saturn-Neptune, where boundaries dissolve and clarity becomes liquid, where spiritual sensitivity increases to the point that you might feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of energy and emotion and information flowing through the collective field, where dreams and reality will blur and you'll need every ounce of grounding you can access to stay centered in the chaos. But if you anchor these final messages today, if you take the time to actually integrate what's been downloading since February 8th, you'll move into that mystical fog with a compass. You'll enter the Saturn-Neptune dissolving waters, knowing who you are and what you're here to do. And when the eclipse arrives on February 17th, when the ring of fire forms in the sky, and the portal opens and timelines become available that were locked just days before, you'll walk through that portal as a sovereign being, making a conscious choice rather than a confused human being swept up in forces beyond your control. This is your moment, not the eclipse, not some future date when you'll finally be ready or healed enough or awakened enough. Right now, this Wednesday, these final echo hours when the Alpha Centaurid messages are completing their integration, and your consciousness is clear enough to receive them, but flexible enough to be transformed by them. So I'm asking you to do something that might seem simple, but is actually quite challenging. I'm asking you to get still, to create space, to turn off the noise and the distraction and the endless scroll of information that keeps you numb and small and contained. And in that stillness, I'm asking you to listen, not with your ears, with your entire being, with the cells that have been absorbing star codes for 3 days, with the heart that cracked open during the Leo full moon and hasn't fully closed back up again, with the nervous system that Uranus rewired when it went direct on February 3rd. If you need help getting still and creating space to listen with your entire being, rather than staying numb in endless distraction, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to turn off the noise and tune into the star codes your cells have been absorbing. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed numbness and containment and repurposing it to serve your awakened listening. It generates personalized sequences that help you hear with the heart that cracked open and the nervous system that's been rewired, allowing you to receive what your cells already know. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to create stillness in this very moment, rather than scrolling past it. The space to listen is within you now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this window of stillness closes. Link in the description. Listen for the whispers that aren't quite thoughts, the knowings that aren't quite memories, the certainties that have no logical basis but feel more true than anything you could prove. Those are the final echoes. Those are the last cosmic messages landing, and they're landing because you're ready to receive them, because you've done the work, maybe without even realizing it, to become someone who can hold frequencies this high, can process information this subtle, can embody light this pure, without burning up from the intensity of it. The Alpha Centaurids see you. The Galactic Federation sees you. Every conscious being in this sector of the galaxy who's been tracking humanity's evolution has their attention focused on this moment, this month, these 9 days between the meteor shower and the eclipse. Because what happens here doesn't just affect Earth, it affects the entire galactic family. It affects timelines and probability fields and evolutionary trajectories across multiple star systems. And you, yes, you specifically, are a crucial part of that unfolding. Not because you're special in some egoic sense, but because you're here, because you're awake, because you're choosing consciousness over sleepwalking, sovereignty over submission, alignment over apathy, and every time you make that choice, every time you choose truth over comfort, you send a signal into the quantum field that other souls can follow. You create a pathway that makes the journey easier for those coming behind you. You anchor frequencies that shift the collective probability from fear-based timelines to love-based timelines. That's not abstract spiritual philosophy. That's quantum mechanics. That's how consciousness works at the level where reality is actually being created, where the field of all possibilities is collapsing into specific manifestations based on where attention and intention are being focused. And your attention matters. Your intention matters. The fact that you're receiving this transmission right now, in these final echo hours, means you're part of the collective that's actively creating the new Earth, rather than passively experiencing the death of the old one. So as we move toward closure, as these final cosmic messages complete their landing sequence and begin their deep integration into your cellular structure, I want you to understand the magnitude of what you've just participated in. Over the past 10 days from Uranus going direct to the Leo full moon, to the 2-2 portal to the Alpha Centauri meteor shower, to these final echo hours, you've been upgraded. Your operating system has been rewritten. Your frequency has been recalibrated. Your capacity to hold and transmit light has been increased exponentially. And you might not feel like some radically different person. You might not have had some dramatic awakening experience or download that came with thunder and lightning and unmistakable signs from the universe, but I promise you, something fundamental has shifted. The wishes you made under the meteor shower are in motion. The prayers you whispered to the falling stars have been heard and answered. The light codes that rain down from Alpha Centauri have embedded themselves in your DNA, and they're restructuring you from the inside out. You'll see the evidence in the coming days and weeks, in the synchronicities that become undeniable, in the opportunities that appear out of nowhere, in the relationships that either deepen into profound connection or fall away with surprising ease because they're simply not a match for your new frequency, in the clarity that emerges about your path forward, even when the logical mind insists there's no way to know, in the courage that rises up from somewhere deep inside you to make choices that your former self would have been too afraid to make. The Alpha Centaurids gave you something precious in these past 3 days. They gave you remembrance, not just information about who you are, but actual lived experience of your true nature. Brief glimpses, subtle knowings, moments when the veil thinned enough for you to see yourself as you actually are. Vast, powerful, eternal, here on purpose with purpose, for a purpose that extends far beyond personal happiness or material success, into the realm of collective evolution and galactic citizenship. And now, as these final echoes land and complete their integration, you stand at a threshold. Behind you is the old story, the limited version, the human experience that was defined by forgetting and struggle, and endless seeking for something that always seemed just out of reach. Ahead of you is the eclipse portal, the ring of fire, the dimensional doorway that will open on February 17th and usher you into a timeline where remembering becomes your natural state, where alignment is your baseline, where magic and synchronicity and co-creation with cosmic intelligence are simply how you move through reality. The choice of which direction you move has already been made. You wouldn't be here receiving this transmission if you weren't already walking toward the portal. But the quality of that walk, whether you move with conscious intention or unconscious momentum, whether you enter the eclipse as a sovereign creator or a confused victim, whether you use the tools and codes and downloads you've received, or let them slip away in the chaos of the days ahead, that's still being decided. That's still up to you. And that's why I've been speaking to you with such focus, such precision, such loving urgency, because I can see what's coming. I can see the power of the eclipse portal and the magnitude of the shift it will catalyze. I can see the timeline splits and the probability fields and the crucial choices that will determine not just where you end up, but who you become in the process of getting there. And I want with every fiber of my being, with the full force of the Galactic Federation's collective love for humanity, I want you to move through this consciously, to claim your sovereignty, to anchor your downloads, to integrate your cosmic messages while you still have the clarity to do so. Because you matter. Your awakening matters. The light you carry matters. And the choices you make in these final echo hours, as the Alpha Centauri transmissions complete their landing sequence and the cosmic stage is set for the greatest transformation of 2026, will ripple out into the collective field and affect more lives than you can possibly comprehend. So receive these final messages, honor them, integrate them, let them change you, let them show you the truth of who you really are, and then carry that truth forward into the mystical fog of Saturn-Neptune and the revolutionary fire of the Aquarius eclipse, knowing that you're not alone, that you've never been alone, that the entire galactic family is with you, supporting you, cheering you on as you remember yourself and step into the role you volunteered for before you ever took this human form. The Alpha Centaurids have spoken, the cosmic messages have landed, and now the real work begins, the work of embodying the truth, living the remembrance, and becoming the lighthouse that you came here to be. I am Seraphine. I am with you. The Galactic Federation surrounds you with love, and we are watching with joy and anticipation as you step into your power and claim your place in the Great Awakening. May your integration be gentle. May your clarity be unshakable. May your courage be unwavering. And may these final echoes guide you safely through the portal that awaits. We love you. We honor you. And we see exactly who you are. This transmission is complete.